Welcome back to the Peer Purpose Podcast. Such a delight to be here with you. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. We're going to jump right into this today. We're going to talk about living life in the mundane. You know, many times people don't understand that life is not just made up of crazy mountaintop moments, okay? We have to understand that a lot of the big triumphs that we encounter in life often happen in just the everyday routine, okay? Have you ever wondered how some people can stay content even when life doesn't seem that exciting for them? Okay. I used to think this all the time. I used to see people every day. And it's like, gosh, you're not really nothing. I mean, some big things are happening, but not crazy big things are happening. But they can just stay content with where they're at. They can understand that. Well, I learned later in life as I got onto this journey how to do that. And so I want to share that with you all today. Okay. It's because they've come to the realization that living life in the mundane is part of the process to get to those mountaintop moments. You're going to have many exciting times in life. I'll be honest with you. Those times will happen. But you're also going to have a lot of lows in life. And you're just going to have times where you're just even keel. Like there's going to be, it's going to be everyday work. You're going to have to deal with, friends, kids, whatever it is you have. It's going to be those things. So there will be some amazing things that happen in your life, but there's also going to be some lows in your life. And there's just going to be some even kill. Things aren't great. They're not bad. It's where we're at. Okay. And so we have to get used to living life in the mundane. It's okay to say, you know what? Every day is this is my day, and be able to go through that and still be content and not think that there's something better. And so I want to give you a few things to take today with this, okay? The first thing is this. You have to get used to familiarity being normal, okay? We can tend to discuss the familiar, okay? You can tend to dismiss the familiar, always waiting for the next best thing. Always will lead us to a place where you don't always appreciate what has been there, okay? If we're always looking for that next best thing, if we're always looking for, okay, what's next, you're never going to enjoy the moments. You're never going to be in a position where you actually start saying, you know what? Let me appreciate what has gotten me here. And sometimes when we start getting familiar, that's when we start actually missing things in life, even with a new friend or something, our new job. We get a new job, we're really excited about it early on, and then all of a sudden we get a couple months in, 6 months in, whatever it is, and then we start dismissing it. Oh, I hate this job, and we dread coming in. Well, why does it have to be that way? Why can't we get used to being familiar with it? Why can't we be in a position where we're saying, you know what? I'm thankful for this job because a couple months ago, I didn't have a job. So we have to get used to being familiar and being normal with that and just saying, gosh, at the end of the day, this is just where it is. And I can tend to appreciate the moments, okay? If you're always looking for the next best thing, you're never going to enjoy the moments right now. I remember years ago, I used to be in that position, and I was always like, okay, what's next? And nothing was ever good enough. And I wondered why I was so restless inside and so discontent. Well, it's because I didn't like the familiar. The familiar wasn't normal to me, and staying still was even more foreign, but I got used to that. And I'm telling you, life is better when you learn to be content in the familiar. Okay. Another thing is this. Get rid of the grass is greener mentality. Do you know why the grass looks greener on the other side? Because they fertilize it with cow crap. Okay? They fertilize it with BS. That's why it looks greener. We can tend to always say, you know what? They have a life that's better than mine. Okay? But what if that's not true? I've said this many times on here. Many people, we all go through the same things. And even if it looks like their life is amazing, doesn't mean it always is. Okay? It's not realistic. You can't live in the highlight reel. Life, that doesn't exist, right? Because not every day is a highlight reel. And so getting used to the simple fact that, like, you know what? I'm good with what I have. I don't have to compare to the next person. It's going to lead you always to a better place. Okay? So let's understand that today. All right? Not accepting the familiar will always lead to high expectations ending in disappointment, okay? Because we're always going to be expecting that thrill, all right? This can happen, honestly, with addiction a lot. People tend to, when we feel something, right? If you're addicted to something, we tend to want to chase that feeling, okay? And we tend to want to get that, get that, get that. But at the end of the day, I promise you, like, it will never, ever feel the same as the first time, okay? So I want us to understand this today. All right. Another part of this is accepting that you'll have to do hard things. That's another good way to live life in the mundane, in the everyday routine. One of the biggest things I see when it comes to doing hard things, and it's probably actually more prevalent in our society today than we would actually want to admit. But we tend to, when hard things come, many people tend to just stick their head in the sand until that moment passes. And I promise you, that is never going to serve you well, okay? Because what happens is, I've said this many times on here too, I think, and if I haven't, even if I have, it bears repeating, because honestly, here's what it comes down to, right? If we prolong what is in front of us, we're only gonna have to go through it again somewhere else. If you want to avoid the mountain, circling the mountain, seeing the same view, then you have to accept that you're gonna have to do some hard things. Well, what are some hard things, Bobby? Well, some hard things are getting up and going through your everyday routine. If you're in school, you have to get up, go to school, do homework, take tests, go to practice, right? That's part of the living in the mundane. That can be not easy, right? Certain things happen in life. Part of life, things happen. Tragedy is one of them, or whatever it may be, okay? That's doing the hard things, taking it head on and getting through it. If you can become a person that does hard things, I believe, and I don't really like defining success like this, but I believe that you will be successful in your life, in your own right, and what your definition of success is, because avoiding hard things only lead to more hard things. Okay, so let's understand that, okay? We have to learn how to navigate hard times. That is part of everyday life, all right? Stability. There's stability in the routine, okay? One of the biggest things that we have to learn to develop is our core foundation of what we live on, right? This has started from a young age for all of us. How when we're born into this world and as we get older, there's a foundation that's already instilled in us because of what our parents have developed, right? So as we go through life and we have different experiences, and then we start developing more beliefs and our desires start rising to the forefront, and different things that make us up as a human being, right? As a person, those are all shaping our foundation, okay? One of the biggest things I've seen lately more and more is there are a lot of people that I run into, they don't have a strong foundation. They're not stable in that. That's why you may be listening to this and saying, well, am I one of those people? I'll tell you how you would know. If there's things that come at you and it just throws you around like the wind, you're not stable in that. Your foundation isn't strong, okay? I'm not here to say you'll never have a strong foundation. You can get a strong foundation, and I believe that you will. But you're going to have to start doing some things right now, okay, that start rebuilding and reshaping that foundation, because when you get stable, right, that is ultimately going to help you grow more in life, all right? And I'm not talking about stable material things, being stable emotionally. Aren't you tired of your emotions always being all over the place? And I'm not saying there's not going to be certain times. There's times in my life where my emotions seem to be all over the place. But majority of the time, I don't live in that place because I know how to handle my emotions. Why? Because I have a strong foundation. I have stability because I have a routine in my life. Just like I had a routine in my life back in the day when I was drinking. There was a routine. It wasn't stable. It was stable in chaos, but it wasn't stable, okay? And so learning that stability in the routine will always help you. Okay. That is the base foundation that everything else will flow from. Okay. Being stable will allow you to build up your strength so that you're able to function at a high level no matter what situation you are in. That's where that foundation comes in to be helpful in the benefit to you. It makes you solid, standing in one place. We have to stop chasing the euphoria. I put out a reel recently. I'm going to sidebar this a little bit. I put out a reel recently, and I was talking about, I was in a school, I did an assembly, and then I went around to the classes, and I was talking about we attract what we are. And we do. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way around that. Like, you will always attract what you've become, okay? There's nothing else you can give. You can't give something that's not inside of you. But this is the crazy world we live in today, that we think we can give something away that we don't have. If I don't have $1 million, I can't borrow someone $1 million. It's as simple as that. It's no different with my internal state. We always attract what we are. And I just want to share something. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's not truthful, right? Doesn't mean it's not truthful. And so we have to get to the place where we start understanding there are certain things that are inevitable. There are certain things that are the truth. And one of these is you have to learn how to live life in the mundane. And just because you don't want to doesn't mean it's not true. You're not going to have the mountaintop moments every day. Matter of fact, there's many times in my life where there's not a lot of exciting things going on all the time. And trust me, when exciting times happen, it's exciting. But some days it's just, we got to go through it. We got to go through the routine. It's just part of life. It's what we have to learn to accept. Okay. Another thing, being content, that's the key to growth. You learn to be content, you'll grow that way. Why? Because you will never overlook the moments. We have to start looking at every single opportunity that we encounter in life, good or bad, as an opportunity to grow. And I'll just be honest with you. Part of being content in that depends on the life that you build for yourself. Depends on the responsibility that you take for yourself, right? Depends on the healing that you have done from the wounds that you have experienced. But we have to learn to be content, because that is how you grow. Otherwise, you will never understand what you need to learn in the moments. There is a learning lesson in every single thing. Most of the time, you're not going to be conscious of this. You know, obviously, I talk about feelings a lot. I don't walk around all day like, oh, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? I don't do that, right? It's just part of the routine. But I know when I'm not feeling something that I need to actually pay attention to it. And I know when I'm not when I'm not content. I know it's because I am not where I need to be in my emotions. And my foundation is off somewhere. So I have to go back and look at that. Okay, we always think we're searching for the amazing euphoria, like I said earlier, okay, that we can always live in that place. That is not real. I tell my kids that all the time that I work with. You cannot live in euphoria forever. It doesn't exist. Being happy is literally temporary. Because if something good happens, you're happy, and then something bad happens, you're not happy. So what you need to be really seeking is true joy. Okay, but learning that, getting to that place where we understand. You're not going to live in a state of euphoria every day. We have to get good with the familiar. Okay, this actually creates more of a false sense of reality if we think we can live in that place. Because if we are searching for something, we'll never be excited about where we are and what we have. Okay? I talked to a kid last year, and he was talking a lot about this. He doesn't do much social media, but I was talking to him. He goes, honestly, I see this all the time. The kids, my peers, they're always looking at Instagram or YouTube to think that their life needs to be like that, right? But at the end of the day, that only will get you to a place. If you've had a good week, you may feel good about it. If you had a bad week, it might tank you, right? So getting to the place where we start understanding that the false sense of reality that we're creating for ourselves is always because we want something that we think we need, okay? But having it right now is good. Being content with where you're at. And I'll just say it. I actually just had this talk with my videographer today, this morning. Like we're talking about material things, and money doesn't change things. Sure, you can get more freedom with things, you can buy more things, but it doesn't make you feel better on the inside. If you're not content without money, you won't be content with it. If you're not content without fame, you won't be content with it. Okay? We have to stop thinking that oh my gosh, if I just blow up on TikTok and I just do this, my life is going to be 10 times better. Nope. Not true. Not true. There's a lot of millionaires that are lonely. Right? Get used to living life in the mundane. If you can learn to be content, then we will actually be able to grow faster because we will always know that we have exactly what we need. Okay? I have exactly what I need today. I don't need anything more. And if I have to lose myself to go get more, then guess what? We're not doing it. Sorry. I'm not interested in losing myself to gain something that will never be permanent. Okay? I want you to really let this sink in today. Be okay with the familiar. Build a routine in your life. Okay? Be content with where you're at. Celebrate yourself. If we always never feel like we're good enough, guys and girls, men and women, whoever's listening to this, if we never feel like we're good enough, what makes you think adding more will make you feel that way? It won't. Learn to be content in yourself. If you need some healing, go get it. Ask for the help. Okay? Ask for the help. We're going to be all right here. But I want you to start looking at your life and it's like, am I really good at living life in the mundane? Can I just do the everyday routine? Or does every day have to be a drag? I promise you, if you continue to just think that every day is a drag, every day is just dreadful, like you're going to get more of that. There is no way around that. You will continue to get more of that because you can never be content. We have to learn to start changing our attitude towards certain things because once we do that, we actually get to a really good place where we understand that, you know what, there's going to be some amazing moments in my life and there's going to be some just moments in my life. Some normal moments in my life. It's okay to be normal, right? It's okay to just be normal. It's okay to say, today I have to go work. Today I have school. I have 3 tests. I don't have a game tonight. We have to get used to that. Why? Because if we can learn to be content in our lives, we'll be that much more content when we build on those foundations. Okay. I love y'all. We're going to be all right. We're going to keep climbing in this thing. Okay. Let this challenge you. Let this be an encouragement to call you up into who you're created to be each and every day. So much gold inside of you that's going to help you explore the greatness on the outside of you. Okay? Continue to live whole in a full life, because anything other than that, you always will rob yourself. I love y'all. I'll see you next time.